Anything else about the project that you would like to discuss about?
Well, one of the key things is I think that this material, at first glance, it might be something where we think, well, we don't really need this, or we already know this. And I just want to make the point that we shouldn't be afraid to teach what we think others might already know. The study is needed for those who have been Christians for a long time, and for those who have only been Christians for a short time, and for everybody in between. For example, how many people know what Deuteronomy means, what that title means, and the significance of that title in relation to the content of that book? How many people know or understand how Malachi relates to Jesus Christ and the content of that book, or the purpose for which Paul wrote First Thessalonians? Some of these things we tend to take for granted, and as a result, we miss the richness of God's Word, and we miss its application to our lives, and we really have trouble. We may get down to a verse or a particular passage, and we may be able to use that passage to make an application, but we don't have really any grasp on the context of that passage within that book and within the New Testament or within the Bible as a whole and its message. And so this is really an effort to help us to overcome some of those things and to just not take things for granted as far as what we think we might know or what we think others know or don't need to be reminded of.
With my own children, it's I have to remind myself they haven't studied everything that I've studied. They don't have that depth of background that I might have, and I think brethren in general, for instance, when you move somewhere as a preacher to a new place, you accept the fact that this is a congregation of Christians and there's a mix of those who are younger in the faith and those who are older in the faith, but you really don't know where their minds are. You really don't know. Um, I don't know if it'd be the average understanding of the congregation and where they stand. So I think this is a great set of materials to maybe even for any congregation, whether you've been there long or you haven't been there long, to go through so we all are kind of on that same page.
Right, right. Well, it does accomplish that. And I was amazed in going through it with those who have been Christians for a long time. At the response of so many where they would say, I never been in a class like this, or I never knew some of these things, and just the impact that it had from that standpoint on those that we might assume would already know all of this, or that it would be boring for them or old to them. They were really, really turned on by it, and really, in a way, were surprised by the things they didn't know, and
Mm-hmm.
how it enlightened them as far as their understanding of the Scriptures is concerned.
Well, I appreciate your time very much, and of course, just want to let folks know they can order these workbooks from CEI Bookstore, and that number is 855-49-BOOKS, 855-49-BOOKS, or 855-492-6657. They're also, of course, online at truthbooks.net, but if you will call in and mention the David Dan interview, we're going to give a 20% discount for a limited time, and that discount applies whether you order one or you order 50 or 100, depending, of course, on the class size that you're going to be doing. But just mention the David Dan interview, and they'll be sure to give you that discount. Again, that's for a limited time, so on the web page where you find this interview, you'll see the limited time or the restriction on that. But if you want a good solid set of material to go through to get that grasp of a foundational understanding of the Bible story, and as David rather had mentioned, through, I'm sure nobody's made that mistake before, but to go through and see where that these books fit in and their context and the basic meaning of them, I think it will be a rich study. Again, David, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Stephen.
Yes, sir.